All right, let's get to the faux rice paper tutorial I promised. I'm finally getting a minute. We're going to do this together. It's really simple. You don't need much, but I'm going to go over what I have here. You don't need all these things. I have a roll of plastic bags that I use for shipping things so they don't get wet. So I'm just going to take a bag off there. It's what I'm going to use to protect the table. So you need some kind of piece of plastic. I'm going to tape it down with painter's tape. You can use any kind of tape, whatever, but you might want to tape it down. That's optional. I have some Elmer's white school glue, a paper bowl, a paintbrush, some water, ink. Again, that's optional. I'm going to add a little bit of sepia ink to the glue mixture. And what I have post-it notes, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then you need the paper napkins. I got these off the Zon because they have 4 different floral patterns on one napkin. So I thought that was really cool. And I love the vintage rose look to that. So I've just cut out 2 pieces. And I'll show you how to pull those apart. But let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is tape down my plastic. Most napkins you buy are going to be 2 or 3 ply, so you want to peel those plies apart. So here's a good tip. If you take a sticky note and tear off the sticky part, it'll help you separate the plies a lot easier. You can use tape too, but sticky notes tend to not tear it as easily, and it really doesn't matter too much if your napkins tear, but if you don't want them to, this is a neat way to get them pulled apart really easily. And then because it's a sticky note, that usually comes off cleanly as well. Now I snuck off camera and trimmed these down just a little bit so I could fit 3 of them on here. They were just a little too big to fit 3, and I didn't want to do just 2. So I trimmed those down a bit. Now, if you have one of these cool doohickeys, a bigger one, what is it, a grid cutting mat, right? And you're using a clear plastic piece. You can use an old shower curtain, trash bags, any kind of plastic you want. But if you've got a big mat like this and you're using a clear bag, you can always put that mat underneath to know where to put your glue. You can use that as a guide to know where to brush your glue on. If you don't, and I'm not using one, I'm not even going to drag it out. I do have a bigger one, but just grab yourself a Sharpie and mark out like where you are going to be placing your glue and just make some little dots. That'll work just fine. All right, so let's mix up our glue solution. I'm just going to put these aside really quick and get this little handy dandy paper bowl. Now, just like with most of my crafts, I don't measure. I just eyeball. Unless something has to be a specific size, I just eyeball stuff. So maybe on another tutorial, you can find out some precise measurements for making the solution. But I just pour a little glob of the glue in there, and then I add some water. And if I had to guess, I'd say it's about a 50-50 mix, but don't quote me on that. So we're going to mix up this glue. And I guess the only way I can really describe it is you don't want it thick. You don't want it too runny. Not very helpful, is it? But we're going to mix this up really well. And just using the paintbrush to mix it up. And then I'm going to spread it on the plastic inside those little marks I made. Now I'm just going to lay the napkins down on top of the glue. Don't worry about wrinkles. I've always said how water wrinkles paper. It's gonna wrinkle, and I think it just adds to that gorgeous rice paper look. The wrinkles I actually like; they're good. So don't panic and don't be too crazy about getting it completely flat. It's gonna wrinkle up some, and the same reason I talk about using Fabri-Tac with paper, why it's my favorite glue, is because it's not water-based, so it doesn't wrinkle paper in the projects I'm doing. But this Elmer's glue is water-based, plus we added water, so it's going to wrinkle paper, and that's what it's supposed to do, so don't sweat it. All right, get those laid on there, and then I'm going to brush the tops of the floral ones with the glue mixture. Now for the white napkin, I'm just going to add a drop of brown ink. That's my favorite color, ink sepia, but just a drop or two is fine. Mix it up, and then I'm going to coat the white napkin with that. It'll give it just a little more aged look. Now one more tip I can share, and it's a very, very technical term. I'm going to scooch in the edges with the brush. So I'm going to go ahead and scooch in all the edges of the napkins, and that's going to create a little bit of a thicker edge, and it'll make these a lot easier to peel off after they're dry. So don't forget to scooch in your edges. Plus, I really like the look of the irregular edges. How they're not just straight. Well, I got these ones kind of close together here, but scooch, 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 scooch over, scooch your little butt over. There you go. See? I hope that's clear that you can see what I'm doing. All right, I took the phone out of the holder so I can get close so you can see all the wrinkly goodness here, and you can maybe see better the scoonched in edges. So don't forget to scooch. We'll come back tomorrow and peel off this transparent goodness. I usually just let them dry overnight, and that should be good enough to go. Isn't that a beautiful napkin? And then this one is slightly aged looking now. We added ink. And here's another floral. All right, guys, I hope that helps. Go ahead and ask questions if you have any, and I will try to help. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.